Hello everyone and welcome, it's Shanna, so glad you're here. Now today we're going to make a card. We're going to use this Park Lane Bright Easter 12 by 12 pack, and I'm bringing in this card here. This was on an Instagram hop, I think last weekend or so, and I had made this card and made a video, and I lost all of the footage from it. And so I didn't get to bring it to my channel. So I'm inspired to make another card like it, but different. And so I've got all my pattern papers here, and I've just cut my 12 by 12s down to 6 by 6 sheets. And I've got some cut aparts and some borders that I've taken. And we're just going to use a pattern paper pack and a couple pieces of cardstock and an embossing folder, and we're going to make this card. So this is a Spellbinders embossing folder. I think it's called Crisscross Motif. And it's very, very pretty. And I've just got a white hammer mill panel that I use, and I've embossed it. I'm going to bring in an A2 size card base. And I'll just grab my score buddy, and we'll just score this card base, and we'll get to assembling our card. I just wanted to do something fun and kind of carefree, and so I've just brought in a paper pack. And I think it's a blast when you can make a great card with just a patterned paper pack. So I'm not going to be using any dies or anything like that. I'm just going to use the pattern paper and just build my card. And my card base was a little bit long. I've been finding that they have been recently, so I don't know if the batch of cardstock I got was off a smidgen or whatever, but I've been having to trim them up. So I'm just going to get some adhesive for this panel, and I looked over and I saw I've got all this double-sided tape, tear tape, and I thought I'm just going to use some of this. With my embossed panel, you know, sometimes the glue doesn't always adhere in all the areas just because of the embossed and debossed areas, and so I thought, well, I'll just use this double-sided tape and start using some of this up that I've got laying around. So that's what I decided to do here. And I'm just pressing it down with my little score buddy tool, and we'll get this laid down. Now, I have had a lot of technology issues. My phone, I do make videos with my phone, and it blew up on me, and that's why I lost the footage from that other card, as well as all of my contacts, everything. The phone was so messed up that they weren't able to even transfer my stuff from my phone, and I hadn't backed up to the cloud in a while. So I was in a pretty bad state, and I had to recover all that. And so that's why I lost the footage for that card. Now, fortunately, all of my videos that I had commitments for and everything, I'd already had them loaded to the channels and everything. So I didn't lose anything that I was committed to. I just lost that particular footage. And all that I was committed to on that card was actually a picture of it. And so that worked out. I had the picture, and I had actually already scheduled it on Instagram and had it all set and ready to go. So fortunately, I had that deliverable met, and I just lost the footage that I was going to bring to my channel. So this, I am using an old Kinder's Card Challenge sketch from KCC 9, and that's what I used on that little chicken card, and I'm just going to use it again. And so I'm bringing in 2 pieces of cardstock that I can layer this paper up on. So next what I need to do is just take this pattern paper and this cardstock and get it cut down to the appropriate dimensions according to the KCC 9 sketch that I was using. And these were some interesting cuts because I think that one of them was 3 1/8 and one of them was 3 5/8. And so you'll probably see me actually count the eighths when I get to that because I want to make sure I get them right. I think one of them was, you actually cut it at 3 1/4, and then you have to cut it at, I I think it was 3 1/4 and then 3 1/8, I think is what it was. And then the other panel, and I'm cutting both of the card bases the same, the cardstock, because the panels, both panels that you're going to use are the same. So you're cutting your cardstock the same, and then you're cutting your pattern paper the same. And I remember one of them was 3 1/8, and then one of them was 3 5/8 is what you used. And so when I'm doing eighths, I'm like counting them out. And I think that was the 3 5/8 there. I don't know. Anyway, but they layer up nicely on there, and I'm just going to cut them both the same. And I've actually laid that on the purple, but I wanted the pink to go on the purple and then the plaid to go on the Tuscan color there. So I'll realize that I've layered that up wrong in a minute, and I'll change it out. So I've got those papers cut, and they layer up nicely, even though I'm layering them on the wrong color. I seem to have gotten my 8s and my 5/8 correct. And I'm still looking at it like that. And then I remember that I wanted to put the plaid on the Tuscan and then put the purple on the back of the pink. And it's a fairly simple card, but I liked the way it looked with the chicken, and I thought I wanted to do it again, especially since I'd lost that footage. I just like this card sketch. I thought it was really cute. And then I'm going to use this banner or border that I cut out of the paper pack. And I had set it up there. I'm going to go ahead and cut it at 4 1/4 because I know it's going to span clear across my card base. And then I lay it down there, and I think I decide it's too wide. And I'm going to use this little tag, the little sentiment on there, and I'll cut it out. But I'm looking at this border here, and I'm thinking it's just too wide. And so I'm going to trim just a smidgen off the top, but decide that I want the bottom cut away, and it would be easier to cut that away first. So I spun it around, and I cut the bottom off. And then I'm going to spin it around and just take a smidge off the top. I just felt like it was just really too wide for what I wanted. And what's funny is then I decide to go ahead and layer it up with a layer of the cardstock that I had left. But I do a real small layer on it once I do it. And I'm going to cut this out. And at first I think I'm going to bring in a die and die cut it. And then I can't really tell with the die. Am I going to clip off the bottom of the sentiment, or am I going to clip off the top of the flower? And so then I just decide to just cut it. It's a square anyway, so I can just cut it straight off. And I'm looking at it trying to figure out, is this going to cut the top of the flower off? Or so I just decide to put the die away. And I grab my Cricut trimmer and just start trimming away on this. So I'm going to get this all trimmed up, and then we'll move on to the rest of the card. So what I decide to do now is I feel like it's kind of busy with all the pattern papers that I've got going on there. So I'm going to use some of the remnants from the cardstock panels that I used to line my pattern paper, and I'm going to line my sentiment and my little border with it. So I'm just going to lay it down on here and try to line it up nice and tight, and then I'll just use my scissors and trim it up and try to get a nice edge on it. And I love these Tim Holtz scissors. They're nice and big, and you can usually get a pretty straight cut, and they cut really nice. So I like to use them on situations like this. And then I'm going to layer that up on there, and then I'm going to bring in the other color for the floral border that I've got there. And I did cut it down because I thought it was too wide, and yet I'm going to use this. But I make a pretty tight backer for it. I don't, just barely see that Tuscan color poking around there. So it's still a good size border for it. I'm just going to get this laid down on here. And we'll cut this off and we'll get our card assembled. So I have had, oh my gosh, I have had so much going on at my house. We've got a construction project going on where we've had a contractor here for the last 2 weeks working in our master bathroom. He's putting in a beautiful shower tile, and oh, it's just gorgeous. Anyway, and then we also had our dryer, the element in our dryer go out, so it's not heating. So I had the dryer repairman in, and then I've got the grandkids, and it's just been crazy. So I've been trying to take them out as much as I can to get them out of the house while all this work is going on. And tomorrow, we're going to have a replay of that because the part for the dryer wasn't in, so they had to order it. And so we had to wait for that to happen. And we're going to have the contractor back in. And so I'm going to have both boys, the contractor work in the bathroom, the dryer repairman working in the utility room, and then the 2 boys running around. So it's going to be crazy. It's been a little bit crazy all week. And so we'll see how tomorrow goes. But tomorrow's is normally our rest day. We don't have library or any place like that to go. We normally just stay in, but I don't know. I may have to find some place to take them tomorrow since we have all of this going on at the house. And my husband's not going to be here, so I'll actually have to stay for the dryer repairman. So I don't know what I'm going to do. The contractor we can leave because he's a friend and we have no problem leaving him. But I'll have to be here for the dryer repairman. But anyway, so it's a crazy week. I'll be looking forward to the weekend to where we'll have some quiet time and some rest. So I'm just getting these panels laid down on this embossed panel, and I'm going to use this border. And we've got a lot of pattern going on here, but I think it turns out nice. Now what I'm doing here is I'm going to have a little edge of that border sticking on over the panels, and it will need to level up with the embossed panel. So I'm just going to layer a couple of layers of this piece of cardstock, and this will help me to level it out. And we'll get it laid down. And I check it, and it lays really nice and flat, so I was real happy with that. And so we'll just get it glued down. And I think it looks cute. So I'll get that lined up on there and press it down. And I'm just checking, lifting it to make sure it looks level and even. And then we're going to put our sentiment down. And I'm going to layer it as well. And on this one, I'm going to put a piece of the cardstock and then a piece of the pattern paper, because that's what it's going to be laying up against is some cardstock and then pattern paper. So we'll just, I tested it and I decided I do want to put that pattern paper on the back. So that little dab that I cut off of the border, I'm going to cut it up and lay it down on the back of this, and that'll even me out. Yeah, that's what I cut off of there. We'll get this laid down. And that'll just about finish off our card. And I'm just going to put 2 pieces side by side because I needed it to be a little bit wider than what I had. And there we go. So I just felt like making a spring card, and I figure we're almost past Easter, so I thought I would just make something springy. And then I decided I wanted to put some embellishments on. And I knew I had some purple ones from the Pink and Main Crafty Courtyard kit that I had just got. So I'm just going to bring them in, and I'm just going to use the purple embellishments and just put a couple of those down on this sentiment in the white area. And so I'm just going to grab my new Pink and Main pick up and stick tool that was included in the Crafty Courtyard kit this month and use it to lay them down. And so I'm just going to lay 3 of them down there, try and get them lined up fairly straight, and then that will finish off our card. There we go. And then I'm going to bring in my personalized stamp that says Shanna Makes It, and then my YouTube channel. And I'm just going to stamp it down on the back of it, and that will complete my card. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.